And here is the Writer's Almanac for Saturday, the 25th of January, 2020. It's the birthday of Virginia Woolf, Kensington, England, 1882. Began her professional writing career at the age of 22 at the end of a terrible year in which her father had died. She had had her second major nervous breakdown, the first when she was a teenager after her mother died and her half-sister. This time, at the age of 22, she became suicidal. She tried to throw herself out of a window. She refused to eat. She began hearing things. She had to go to an asylum. Finally, they let her out to go to London for a 10-day visit to her sister, Vanessa. And during that visit in London, she was introduced to Margaret Littleton, the editor of a women's magazine. And Virginia Woolf began writing essays and book reviews, which she sent to the magazine, and she was paid for them, which made her very, very happy. She was able to support herself with her journalism. Wrote her first novel, The Voyage Out, in 1913, had another breakdown which lasted for 2 years. The book finally came out, and she went on to write Mrs Dalloway, To the Lighthouse, and Orlando. Virginia Woolf, who said writing is like sex. First you do it for love, then you do it for your friends, and then you do it for money. Here's a poem for today by Edward Hirsch, entitled Summer Surprised Us. These first days of summer are like the pail of blueberries that we poured out together into the iron sink in the basement. A brightness unleashed and spilling over with tiny bell-shaped flowers, the windows opened and the shrubs overwhelming the house like the memory of a forgotten country, nature, with its wandering migrations and changing borders, its thickets, woodlands, bee-humming meadows, these widening turquoise days in mid-June remind me of slow drives through the country with my parents, the roads spreading out before us like the inexhaustible hours of childhood itself, the wildflowers and fruit stands blooming along the highway, the heat tingling on my skin that would burn with the banked fires of adolescence, and the no less poignant ache of adulthood on those long detours through the park during the last rain-soaked nights of spring and the first beach days of the season. It's the leisurely amplitude of feeling that rises out of these expanding afternoons, the days facing outward, the city taking notice of itself after all these months off-duty, wearing short-sleeve shirts and sleeveless dresses, the color of sunlight, the texture of morning. It's the way we move toward each other at night, tired, giddy, after a day together or a day apart, flush with newborn plans for a holiday from daily life in reality. We are festive and free-floating. We are poured out like a bucket of wild berries. A poem by Edward Hirsch, Summer Surprised Us, from his collection The Living Fire, new and selected poems published by Alfred A. Knopf and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Funded by donations from listeners like you, now available on PRX for distribution by your local radio station. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.